Good evening, everyone, to today's edition of Value Talks. We have with us Mr. Tarun Arora. Tarun sir is a chartered accountant with more than 30 years of experience. ये दिल्ली में practice करते हैं और इसके अलावा he is also a member of Rotary International, a very respected social figure and a professional of very high repute. तो आज सर से चर्चा करेंगे न्यू टैक्स रिजीम और ओल्ड टैक्स रिजीम के अंदर क्या डिफरेंसेस हैं उसके बारे में. सर वेलकम ऑन द टॉक सर.
थैंक यू विपुल जी.
तो सबसे पहले सर पहला ही सवाल मैं पूछ लेता हूँ आपसे कि व्हाट आर द मेजर डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन न्यू एंड ओल्ड टैक्स रिजीम और कौन सा टैक्स रिजीम सैलरीड इंडिविजुअल्स के लिए बेटर है, क्योंकि हमारे ज्यादातर ऑडियंस जो है वो सैलरीड.
ओके, सो विपुल जी आपने तो पूरी समरी पूछ ली है. तो दिस इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी इलैबोरेटिव. There are various aspects of it. So to start with, I would like to have a disclaimer with everyone. Today's talk is just for the purpose of education only. This is not a promotion or any networking or any other motive. So purely on the basis of, for the purpose of giving my thoughts or giving my teachings on the income tax matter. So good evening, everyone. My name is Tarun Kumar, and I write it as a Tarun Kumar, although I am Tarun Kumar Arora, and I'm a chartered accountant and a lawyer as well. And I'm into the practice of chartered accountancy since 1990, more than 30 years now. So having my base in New Delhi, and as Vipul ji has given my introductions, I will not go any further on that. So coming straight to the topic, which has been taken out for the evening today, is the difference between the new tax regime and old tax regime. And since this is very confusing, which one should we opt and which is beneficial, why, how, and all. And I'll take up your question. So going forward on this, I'll give a brief introduction of the new tax regime. What is new tax regime, how it came into being, and what was the purpose and all that. So it came into being in Finance Act 2020, means for the financial year 2021, means from the year starting from 1st day of April 2020. So the government made an amendment in Income Tax Act by introducing a new section called 115 BAC, and thereby providing an opportunity for the taxpayers to go for a different and an optional way of paying the tax. And this facility is available only for individuals and HUFs, and not available to all other class of taxpayers. So this has been amended in the budget 2023 as well, and which is most likely to be cleared also. So presuming that the proposals given in 2023 budget have been adopted in full, so I will do my analysis based on that, because most likely there is not going to be any change in that. So if you are into earning any income apart from business and profession, that means majorly for salaries and other than business income like rental income and income from other sources, then you have an option to choose between old tax regime and new tax regime every year based upon the calculation which you make on your own, that which one is beneficial for you. So this option is available at the income tax portal or at all the softwares if you are using the software to file your tax return, or you can give this option to your tax professional who is filing the income tax return for you. So this you can choose at the time of filing of return. Coming to the salaried taxpayers have to choose the old tax regime and the new tax regime at the beginning of the year, and have to report it to their employer for the purpose of making deduction of tax at source on their salaries. So although there is no time limit specified in the Income Tax Act that you have to report to your employer, but generally the employer takes this undertaking at the beginning of the year so that there is no change in the tax calculation which the employer is making for the employees. Right. So I'll give you basic differences or what are the pros and cons or plus minus of old tax regime and new tax regime. So the main benefits of new tax regime is there is a lower rate of tax in this segment in compared to the old tax regime where it was slightly higher. And the other benefit is that you may not like to park your money or invest in some specified tax saving investments. So the money is free with you. So you can use that money any other way which you want. And the next benefit is that the easy liquidity with you. So if you are left with more money, so you have more purchasing power and liquidity in hand for making other suitable expenses for you, be it capital or revenue, whatever expenses you want to make. And this will improve the consumption cycle as well. Like more money in the market will be beneficial for the economy in one way, not in all the ways, but in one way. And cons also I'll take. What are the, I mean, of the new tax regime is doing away with the deductions. Like there are a lot of deductions which you are taking under the old tax regime by lowering your tax, which now will not be available under the new tax regime. So deductions will not be available. Most of the deductions will not be available. What are available, I will talk further. And suppose you are a long-term planner, or you are a senior citizen, or I mean, planning the other way around, or not ready to invest so much money, then you will not be interested in new tax regime. Maybe rather you may end up paying a little bit more tax, but you're more comfortable with that. So these are the major pros and cons which are available for new tax regime. And coming to the old tax regime, you have an investment culture, like for making your future investments or accumulating some funds for you. So you can make some investments year after year, and some of the investments are basically subsidized by the government. You get more interest, and although there are lock-ins, but still, in comparison to other securities in the market, some of them are very good. And then national savings, definitely a very big factor. The earlier governments were of the view that these small saving schemes build a nation and give a very strong foundation to the citizens. So definitely that's a factor, because small savings make people rich and more dependent upon their self rather than depending upon the external factors like government or social securities or other benefits available. There were definitely some cons in the old tax regime as well. Like once you invest, the money is stuck for a lock-in period, which is generally ranging from 3 to 5 years, and in some cases, like PPF, it is for 15 years, and in some cases 7 8 years, like NSC and all that. And secondly, like if you are a senior citizen and you are not sure that you want to retain this money for a longer period, and you want to have money right now in your hand for your enjoyment, so that was not suitable for you. And then for the purpose of making investment under the old regime, very limited options were available. You cannot invest wherever you want. You have to invest only in the government securities which are specified or eligible for the tax rebate under Section 80C and such other investments. And moreover, you need to maintain all the documents, all the records, that when you purchase any particular security, कब invest किया था NSC में, कब mature होंगे, कितना interest मिला, and that sort of documentation is required to be maintained for the investment in tax saving security under the old tax regime. Right. So these are the basic differences or pros and cons which came to being in the old and new tax regimes. So in the new tax regime, definitely the rate of tax is lower, and in old tax regime it is bit higher, but deductions are, they play a very key role in this. If you are investing a certain amount in the deductions, then you will, old tax regime is better, and if you are not investing anything, then definitely new tax regime is better. So certain other amendments were made in this budget. Like earlier in the new tax regime, you were given the option to choose between the old and the new. If you are choosing the new tax regime, it was converted into new tax. But if you are not choosing, then it was old tax regime. But now the new tax regime has been made as a default. If you will not choose, then automatically you will be treated as you have opted for the new tax regime. So this is the major benefit which this budget 2023 has given us. Apart from this, one basic deduction of, like the earlier, the Section 87A rebate means the income of up to rupees 5 lakh was exempt from tax. So now it has been increased to 7 lakh for both. Like whether you are old tax regime or new tax regime, 7 lakh is exempt for you. Moving forward to the other amendment which the budget has made, that they have reduced the slabs under the new tax regime. Now they have reduced the slab to only 5 slabs. Earlier there were 6 or 7 slabs. And they have also reduced the amount of surcharge, which was for the higher tax, higher income. They have now reduced it to 25% for the against the 39% which was applicable earlier, but that is for the higher income group of 5 crore and so. So these were the basic major changes which the government brought in the new 23 budget and which are likely to be approved. We are considering them approved. If not approved, then we can treat them accordingly. And coming forward to the other aspects of new and old tax regime, for particularly for the salaried employees, what Vipul ji was putting me a question for the salaried employee. Major benefit of deduction like HRA, which all the salaried employees generally enjoy by paying the house rent. So that will go, that will not be available in the new tax regime, as well as your leave travel concession will go, your special allowances, daily allowances, all major these allowances will go. Earlier standard deduction was also not there, but from this year onwards, government has allowed standard deduction in the new tax regime also. And major deductions which were available, like your clubbing benefits, food voucher benefits, they will all go. And coming to one major factor which salaried employees enjoy is the amount of interest paid on loan for their self-occupied house property. So this will also go. If you are opting for the new tax regime, this will also go. So you will not get the benefit for this. However, if your property is rented, means you are earning a rental income on that, then this 2 lakh rebate will be continued in the new tax regime. So these are the major benefits which are available. Apart from this, one more deduction is there, which you can claim in the new tax regime, which is section 80CCD bracket 2, which is in respect of NPS. This NPS is what the government contribute, your employer contribute to your salary, and it is allowable to the extent of 10%. So this is the only benefit which is available, standard deduction and this 80CCD benefit of NPS. Your contribution which you are contributing in NPS will go in the new tax regime. Some small benefits are also available in new tax regime, like if you are changing the place of your duty and you are meeting certain expenses, that will be allowed. Or if there is some transport allowance which is being paid to the Divyang employees, so for performing their duties, that will also be allowed. Or any conveyance allowance which you are performing for your duty on behalf of your office, means it is in the shape of a reimbursement, that will be allowed. So these are the basic benefits or deductions which are available in the new tax regime. So there is one more crucial subject which is a loss. Like if you are opting for a new tax regime, so and you have a loss in any earlier year which you are carrying forward, so you will not be allowed to carry forward that loss to the coming years, and that will not be allowed. Similarly, the loss under head house property of 2 lakh, which I told you earlier, that was available. So this will also not be allowed to be set off against any other income. And you will also not get the benefit of depreciation. If you're getting any benefit of additional depreciation will not be. And for the purpose of TDS, you need to inform your employer about the new tax regime or old tax regime. Once you are opted for the new or old, you cannot change it in that year for the purpose of TDS by your employer on your salary. So suppose you have opted in April or May that you are going to be taking the option of a new tax regime during the year in progress, like you change your mind in September or October or December, you cannot change it. However, you will get this option to change at the time of filing of your income tax return. And if you do not have a business income from business and profession, like if you are a professional or running any business, then you cannot opt every year. Once you have opted a new tax regime, you cannot come back except once. And that too, if you are opted for new tax regime, for that year you will not be allowed. Subsequent year you can be allowed, but then you will not be able to switch again. So primarily for a salaried employee, you have this option. You can enjoy the benefit of old tax regime and new tax regime every year, irrespective of your TDS. Whatever your employer has deducted, while filing your return, you can opt for any of this option.
सर जो कुछ सैलरीड एम्प्लॉयज जिनका कंपल्सरी डिडक्शंस हो जाते हैं टुवर्ड्स पीएफ, वेदर इट इज डिफेंस सर्विस ऑफिसर्स प्रोविडेंट फंड या कॉर्पोरेट में काम कर रहे हैं तो एम्प्लॉयर पीपीएफ उस तरह से है, और कुछ इंश्योरेंसेस की तरफ लोगों ने जो पहले से इंश्योरेंसेस ले रखे हैं, मतलब एटीसी वाला अगर 1.5 लाख का कवरेज करना हो ही रहा है, प्लस जिनके ऑलरेडी कोई होम लोन है या कोई होम लोन लेने के लिए प्लान कर रहा है, तो किसमें ज्यादा बेनिफिट है, कौन से वाले टैक्स?
सर ये डिपेंड करता है आपका इनकम, टोटल इनकम कितना है। और आई विल टेक इट वन बाय वन। जैसे आपने पहले बोला कि पीएफ का और इंश्योरेंस का, पीएफ और इंश्योरेंस में दीज आर कवर्ड इन सेक्शन 80C. If you are continuing in the old regime, then yes, you will get the benefit, irrespective of whether your insurance policy is old or new, subject to the condition that it should not exceed 5 lakh, which is the new law in a year for your insurance benefits. And in the new tax regime, ATC will not be allowed. So whether PF or whether insurance, this will go. Now coming down to the housing loans, which people have already taken or which people are planning to take. So if they are under the, let us say, that income slab of around 15-20 lakhs, so around this age, I think the home loan would be better because they'll get the interest rebate of 2 lakh against the salary income also. So, but again, depend upon the total calculation, what total deductions and exemptions you are having. And if you are into a higher slab, then it does not make any difference. But if you are in a middle slab, like ranging from 10 lakhs to say 20 lakhs, then it definitely makes a difference. And for new housing loans, you plan accordingly. If you are using the house property for the purpose of your own residence, then you will not get the benefit in the new tax regime. But if you have planned to rent it out, then yes, whatever interest you are paying, you will get the deduction.
अच्छा सर, ये स्विचिंग कर सकते हैं, इस साल न्यू टैक्स रेजिम ऑप्ट कर लें, अगले साल होल्ड कर लें, इज दैट अलाउड?
Yes, it is allowed, provided you do not have a income from business and profession. अगर आपके पास सैलरी, कैपिटल गेन, हाउस प्रॉपर्टी, रेंटल, अदर सोर्सेज, ये सारी इनकम है, तो यू कैन ऑप्ट एनी टैक्स रिजीम एवरी ईयर, नॉट नेसेसरी एट द टाइम ऑफ फाइलिंग ऑफ रिटर्न. यू कैन मेक द कैलकुलेशन बोथ वेज and whichever is suitable to you, you can opt for that.
और एचआरए न्यू टैक्स रेजिम में अलाउ नहीं किया है?
एचआरए नहीं अलाउ किया है, तो एचआरए ओल्ड टैक्स रिजीम में ही अलाउड है. उसका सेम फॉर्मूला है जो पहले चल रहा था, बट ओल्ड टैक्स रिजीम में ही मिलेगा.
तो सर मैं ये अगर आपकी बात समझा, न्यू टैक्स रेजिम में ब्रॉडली स्पीकिंग एनपीएस का एक उन्होंने जो एम्प्लॉयर कंट्रीब्यूशन और खुद का है उसको अलाउ किया है कुछ हद तक, एक स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन अलाउ किया है, और अगर रेंटेड प्रॉपर्टी है तो उसके अंदर इंटरेस्ट का डिडक्शन अलाउ किया है. इसके अलावा बाकी कोई डिडक्शन न्यू टैक्स रेजिम में अलाउड नहीं है.
उसके अलावा छोटे छोटे, जैसे मैंने आपको बताए थे कि अगर कोई दिव्यांग एम्प्लॉय को कन्वेंस जा रहा है या ऑफिस ड्यूटीज के पर्पसेस के लिए कोई रीइंबर्समेंट ले रहा है कन्वेंस अलाउंस की, वो सब अलाउड है. बट मेजरली जो मेन एड्स होते हैं, जैसे एचआरए हो गया, एलटीसी हो गया, आपका हाउसिंग लोन का हो गया, ये सारे दीज विल गो नॉट बी.
इसके लिए एक सैलरीड एम्प्लॉय को ओल्ड टैक्स रेजिम में ही रहना पड़ेगा?
हाँ, अगर ये सारे लेने हैं तो ओल्ड टैक्स रिजीम में ही रहना पड़ेगा. तो नटशेल में अगर हम जाते हैं, अगर हम कैलकुलेशन करते हैं, तो मोटा मोटा, आई मीन इट इज नॉट परफेक्ट कैलकुलेशन, बट व्हाट आई वुड से कि अगर आपकी जो टोटल डिडक्शंस हैं, जो आप अपने सब एग्जेम्पशंस और डिडक्शंस मिला करके अगर आप चलते हैं, तो वो 3.75 लाख तक अगर आते हैं, तो आपके लिए ओल्ड टैक्स रिजीम बेटर है. और अगर ये 3.75 लाख से कम आते हैं और 1.5 लाख और 3.75 के बीच में रहते हैं, तो आपको कैलकुलेशन करना पड़ेगा. 1.5 लाख से कम में आते हैं तो जो ओल्ड टैक्स रिजीम है वो आप छोड़ दीजिए, न्यू टैक्स रिजीम आपको सूट करेगा.
तो तीन कैटेगरी बनी
मैं
जिनकी
इसको दोबारा समरी कर देता हूँ. 1.5 लाख तक अगर आपकी डिडक्शन है, 1.5 लाख या उससे कम, तो यू स्ट्रेट अवे गो फॉर the new tax regime, whatever income slab you have. If your deduction is 1.5 lakh to 3.75, then you make calculation both ways. And if it is 3.75 and above, then you stay in the old tax regime.
ये काफी एक अच्छा ब्रॉड सा एक यार्डस्टिक हो गया जिसके बेसिस पर लोग कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. मेरी तरफ से तो और सवाल नहीं है. मैं
Gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head